everybody, welcome back to my channel. Hope everybody's having a great day today. Hope everything's going your way today. Today, I'm coming to you with an eye look. Yes, today I'm coming to you with an eye look, swatches, and a review of the James Charles palette by Morphe. Yes, Morphe x James Charles. So, if you want to see how the palette performs and get my take on this here palette, then just everybody, let's get started. Man. Okay, guys, remember a couple of videos ago when I told you I was doing my level best to stay out of the makeup stores for a little while? Yeah, I said it. In addition to staying out of the makeup stores for a while, it really was my goal to stay off the websites as well, at least until Black Friday. But then, something happened. One of my faithful subbies, Michelle Clark, hit me up in the comments. Hey, Michelle. And the comment went something like this. Hey, Lily. I know you said you were going to be staying out of the makeup stores, but can you do a review of the Morphe x James Charles palette? Thus here I sit with the Morphe x James Charles palette. First, let's talk about the packaging. The packaging is really attractive, guys. It says Morphe X, and it has James Charles' signature on the front. And I really love how they didn't reinvent the wheel this time, guys, and stuck with their standard black shade of packaging for this collab. Unlike that palette, whose name I shall never utter out of my mouth ever again in life. And I also love the fact that it comes with a magnetic closure. And when you open it up, it doesn't have a mirror, but then again, none of Morphe's palettes do. But what it does have is a nice little saying, and it says, unleash your inner artist. And like all of their newer palettes do, guys, it comes with the names listed on a piece of cellophane. And because it's made of cardboard, you can easily flip the palette back to reveal the colors. And because the palette is quite big, guys, that makes for easier handling. And when you open her up, here are the colors. And guys, this palette is big as all get out, so I really hope every single shade is in frame. And guys, this really is a versatile palette. You actually have your brighter shades, you have your warm tone shades, and you even have the most commonly used shades from a palette in bigger pans. Just like their 39A, right? It actually has 12 satin and shimmer shades, and the rest of the shades are all mattes. And I'm actually wearing this palette on my eyes today. I use 10% off as my transition shade. No beams to deepen up the crease. I use Halloween on the inner part of my lid. Shook on the outer part of my lid. So Good as my inner corner highlight. And I use 518 and Literally on my lower lash line. And guys, as much as I want to skip out on this palette because I have the 39B, along with an array of other bright palettes and a whole slew of warm tone palettes, I must admit, I really love this palette. For one, I love the color story of this palette. For two, it's so aesthetically pleasing. And for three, the pigmentation is definitely there. When I say you can blend without even trying, you can. And when I say these colors translate quite well on the eyes, they do. And when I say James Charles had absolutely nothing to hide when he did his swatches, he didn't. Now don't get me wrong, guys. While I without question absolutely love this palette, yeah, this palette's just like family. You wouldn't trade it for the world, but it definitely has its flaws. Guys, with this palette, the kick up is real, and so is the fallout. And I find it especially profound when using the bright shades like the reds, the oranges, the greens, the blues, the purples. Darn near the whole palette. But with the color payoff that these shadows have, that's not uncommon at all. And while I don't mind it, guys, I do know that there are some people out there who do. And this might be a deal breaker for you. But I will say, though, if you can absolutely avoid it, please don't do your complexion before you do your eye look. Not with this palette. No, not with this palette. Because if you do, let's just say, your girl told you so in advance. If there were 2 shades in the palette that I would say they have to go absolutely back to the drawing board on, it would be this color wig and this so-called specialty shade artistry. Because unlike Halloween and Shook, which are pigmented and smooth to the touch and easy to apply to the eye in the gate, wig and artistry fall short. And if you notice, out of all the shades that I've used in this palette, these 2 shades here are actually getting hard pan. But because the other shades I use in the palette are so bomb, there's no need to throw the baby out with the bathwater. And another thing regarding application. When choosing the base to use under this shadow, you only have 2 choices. That's to use an eyeshadow primer or not use the palette at all. Guys, I tried to use my P. Louise base before putting on my eyeshadow here. As you'll see in the demo, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But I'm not really mad because James Charles told us that these shadows work better with an eyeshadow primer. But I am mad that a palette that I love so much is so problematic. But what I can tell you is when doing my warm eye look today, I did use my concealer, let it dry a little bit, and it worked out rather well. So I would say you can probably apply concealer to your lid and set it with translucent powder, and the shades will blend rather nicely for you. But they probably wouldn't give you the same pigment as an eyeshadow primer. So I would say if you're going to purchase this palette, you might as well go ahead and purchase some eyeshadow primer right along with it. And I know some of you guys may be out there wondering, how does the James Charles palette actually compare to the 39B? Upon looking at both palettes one on top of the other, you might tell yourself that these palettes both have repeat shades. But no. Contraire en frere. When comparing the yellow in JC's palette to the yellow in the 39B palette, while there are similarities, competition is none. And when comparing the hot pink shade in the JC palette with the hot pink shade in the 35B palette, there are no similarities. Competition is none. When comparing the purples, they are quite different as well. This is the purple from the JC palette, and these are 2 purples from the 35B palette. But I'm not gonna lie though, that purple from the 39B palette is hidden. Now the lime green in both palettes are pretty similar. However, the blues, they're quite different. This is JC, this is 39B. You get the gist. So with that, guys, we can gladly conclude that the James Charles Artistry palette is most definitely not a remake of the 35B. I really only have 1 palette in my collection that comes real close. And that's in my Sephora Pro editorial palette. This palette actually gives you a condensed version of the James Charles palette. This is the blue from the editorial palette. This is the blue from JC's palette. This is the pink from the editorial palette. And this is the pink from JC's palette. This is the salmon shade from the editorial palette. And this is the salmon shade from the JC palette. And while James Charles palette does undoubtedly have this pretty baby blue shade with a shift, when it comes to pastel shades and shifts, the Sephora editorial palette did it first. Now for the $1 million question. Do I recommend the Morphe X James Charles palette? Yes, I do. I absolutely do. I positively do. I definitely do. You know I do. Because even though the palette doesn't have a mirror and it's as large as a whole zip code and not at all travel friendly, it can't be denied that it's a high quality, versatile, aesthetically pleasing palette. The palette runs for $39. Last time I checked, it was all sold out on the Morphe website, and it was also all sold out on the Ulta website. But I do know that it is still stocked in some Ulta stores, so you might want to check your local store if you're thinking about checking out this palette. And even at $39, this palette is quite worth it. Unlike that palette, whose name I shall never utter out of my mouth ever again in life. Now that we got that part done, enough all the yapping. First, we're going to get into the swatches. Then we're going to get into the eye look. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you like these videos, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. And only gets greater later, guys. And only gets greater later. So until next time, guys, stay real, stay positive, stay up, and damn it, you better watch, fight, and pray. Let's get into these swatches, though. Holla!
Time it's more than another lot of war. This ain't the same. This ain't the same. They say love heals all. It makes it all alright. In time. In time. My heart still feels the breaking, but you make my world so bright. Feels so right. It feels so right. And how will we ever feel that what we've got is real? There's no denying. There's no denying. And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying. It's terrifying. And how will we ever know if the love will ever grow without trying? Without trying. And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying. It's terrifying. That we're meant to be. We're meant to be. That we're meant to be. I want you to show me how to get to know someone like you, someone like you. I want you to know me, 'cause I know then you'll see.
There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. There goes a sight from my soul. I think a fall angel just walked by. I think a fall angel just walked by. Think a fall
Problematic, okay? Problematic, okay? Problematic. No. Well, I gotta start off. Problematic, okay? Who the hell wants to go through all this for some shadow. I mean, so it's official, guys. You gotta use a base. You gotta use you gotta use an eyeshadow base, okay? So there looks hideous. Okay, here we go. Okay.
There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. There goes a sight from my soul.
I think a fall angel just walked by. I think a fall angel just walked by. I think a fall angel just walked by.
I think it's all angels just walk by. There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my there goes a sight. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. There goes a sight from my soul.
I think a fall angel just walked by. I think a fall angel just walked by. I think a fall angel just walked by.
I think it's all angels just walk by. There goes a sight from my soul.